If you knew you were going to die a premature death, would you live life differently? The 2010 dystopian film Never Let Me Go is a profound examination of mortality, humanity, and ethics. We meet our main character Kathy at Hailsham, a boarding school in the British countryside. The children at Hailsham are clones, created and raised specifically to donate their organs early in their adulthood. They give away their organs one by one until they eventually complete, or in other words, die. Kathy experiences a normal childhood alongside her best friend Tommy, who she grows to fall in love with. But when their classmate Ruth pursues Tommy, Kathy is forced to watch as their relationship persists into early adulthood. As older teenagers, Kathy, Tommy, and Ruth meet other clones. Together, they discuss their inevitable fate and rumors of how they could delay it. The friends eventually drift apart. Kathy takes a job as a carer to push back her organ donations, and the friends find themselves reunited years later. Though Kathy, Tommy, and Ruth have greatly different personalities, they're bonded by their heartbreaking lack of control over their own lives. Kathy and the other donors' reasons for creation and existence is to die as young adults and have their bodies harvested for medical purposes. The donors have no choice in this matter, so they're left with two ways of dealing with their mortality: accept their predestined end, or try desperately to find a way around it. Kathy and Tommy pursue the rumor that couples in love can be granted a deferral from their organ harvesting, but they come to find out that the rumors were based on no truth. After realizing that the donors truly never had any control over their fate, Never Let Me Go ends in the way it was always destined to end, with Ruth and Tommy dead, and Kathy's own demise in the not at all distant future. This story thus serves as a direct metaphor for the very real existence of organ trafficking, but also the commodification of animals and the use of animal agriculture. Tommy himself draws a comparison between the donors and clone farming when he compares other schools to battery farms. In battery or factory farms, farm animals are raised in large numbers under atrocious circumstances. Their lives are nothing more than misery and torture until they reach their preordained end. Animals' rights have become a bigger topic of discussion in recent years, but there's still a worldwide lack of empathy for them, particularly for livestock. And that raises the question: are animals' lives less valuable just because they were bred to be slaughtered? Do they deserve less decency than your dear beloved puppy or kitten? If other schools in the world of Never Let Me Go are considered the equivalent of factory farms, Hailsham would be a humane farm, a place where its animals are raised with a certain level of moral standards. And though this may be applauded as better than the more visually grotesque option, it still ultimately leads the animals to the same selfish fate. So perhaps it wouldn't be a stretch to consider humane slaughterhouses, or in the case of the movie, schools like Hailsham, to be merely justifications to the exploitation because they're at least not as tortured. But really, how ethical can the mass breeding and captivity of what we just want to harvest actually be? Never Let Me Go also questions the definition of humanness. Since the donors were created as clones in a lab, they're not traditionally natural humans. The majority of the normal humans in the film's world ignore the moral implications of cloning because the clones' organs are saving humans' lives and allowing for an extended lifespan. But through our intimate look at Kathy, Ruth, and Tommy's lives, it's easy to see how the clones are no different to the human race. They have lives and memories and experience the highs and lows of emotionality just like any other human. The clones have a zest for life, but also experience immense frustration and a fear of loneliness. They get sad and they feel scared. They know what it's like to fall in love and even have sexual appetites like a human may. Kathy and Ruth in particular are very interested in finding the human they were cloned from because they believe it'll give them a sense of belonging and understanding of themselves, almost as if they are children looking for their parents. Human cloning has been a topic of debate for decades now, as it presents many ethical issues. The arguments against human cloning state that the clone would undergo emotional, physical, or mental harm. By creating something that is meant to be human and then stripping them of control over their bodies and lives, we're undermining their autonomy. The clones in Never Let Me Go were created to have all of the same intrinsic qualities as normal humans, including feelings, thoughts, and consciousness. but they've been destined to a premature death of fear and pain, which they have absolutely no control over. And because they understand their mortality in such a time-conscious way, Kathy, Tommy, and Ruth have more appreciation for life than those they've been created to help live longer. Never Let Me Go tells the story of characters whose whole lives are tied to their deaths. Their early and inescapable deaths loom over them. The most they can do, as Kathy does, is delay it for a few years. And still, they're all discontent and frustrated by their fate. The clones in the film all know when and how their life will end. But we don't, and we often take that for granted. We forget that the future is never guaranteed. And though we should prepare for a long life in certain ways, we must also remember to make use of the time we have. Kathy, Tommy, and Ruth especially appreciate their existence because they know it'll end soon. But just like Kathy ponders at the end, we're going to complete too. We will also die. And whether we die at 20 or 100, how can we make sure to leave feeling we've had enough time?